What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another special episode of BDO. So today, a lot of people have been asking me this, and I wanted to go over it. So how I make silver in this game, and what do I do on a daily as a veteran player? So I guess on average, it's like, I think I make between 1 to 4 billion silver a day just playing more or less casually. I don't hardcore grind anymore. But yeah, I just wanted to go over things you could do and things just I do on a daily. So hopefully you guys can get an idea of what's happening. And actually, throughout November, if you guys have been watching this as videos have been released, I started this mini challenge, I guess you can say. It was more, how much silver can I make in November while still playing the way I normally do? And so I've been doing weekly update videos, which have been doing very well. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate all the support and feedback and everything. So you guys can watch that. We are currently on week 4, I think. And so we started November with 48 billion. And then if I didn't buy anything, I would be at like 110 billion now. So you can do the math on that one. But we did make some gains, and we got a new pen, and so watch week 3's update video for that one. And yeah, so today it's all about what do I do, how do I earn money, and we're just gonna go over this stuff. So with that said, let's start off with the easy earnings, things that you guys can do as well. So first of all, let's do some calculations. So I have 10,000 family fame, and ultimately most of it comes from the combat fame. And let me move this over here so you guys can see it. So with maxed out, this is like the big pay one, the combat fame, and the way you get this one is pretty much by having a lot of characters. So the higher your character levels, the more points you get. And I actually made a video a while back on why it's important to have all these characters. Now, obviously, all of us players, we have like maybe 1 or 2 mains, right? And then there's always a good reason to have all the characters, even if you don't play them. One, because they are energy batteries, so like every character has their own energy pool, right? And then so you can use that. That's just more money, whatever you do with that energy. 2 is holding fail stacks instead of using the Nadar's band, because let's be honest, unless you are exclusively enhancing all day, every day, just swapping between characters and putting your fail stacks on other ones is free, and you don't have to spend $10 a slot, so that's always nice. So yeah, that's some of the importance of having all the characters, even if you have 1 or 2 mains, so like your main and tagged. But overall, I've been playing this game for a while. I wanted to try at least everything once just to see how it is, and you know, it's just fun. So anyway, that's where a lot of that comes from, the combat fame. And life fame is pretty much just all your life skills on every character, and that adds up. Special fame is knowledge and contribution. This one is the harder one to get overall, in my opinion. But yeah, overall, I think I make about 17 million from the daily logins and all the silver from that one. And then, of course, you get 5 million or up to 5 million from your daily just being in a guild, and you know how you have a contract for your guild. So yeah, there's that. And then here's one that I do. This one does require a little bit of cooking levels and mastery. So mastery is the most important thing here. And let's put on a life food. So as you guys know, with mastery, every 50 boosts you up into a new bracket, right? Of like newer numbers, whatever your life skill is. So personally, I do Imperial cooking every day. And I actually made some of this before starting the video. So we have guru boxes. So the number of guru boxes you can turn in is your contribution points, like over here, divided by 2. So when you do Imperial, it'll tell you how many you could turn in up here, and then you turn them in. So basically, the higher your mastery, the better. And then you see how much silver I have is 0. You turn in the highest one you can. Ideally, you want to be Guru. Master is fine too. but just do the highest level one you can every day, and I think that's generally profit. So turn that in. 233 million, and let's do some actual math with this. Sometimes I buy the meals and sometimes I gather for it. So after like the cost of materials, I think it's about like maybe 100 mil profit, depending on how much you could turn in and your cooking, of course. So every day I do my Imperial deliveries and make about 200 mil. And I guess we could just take out the 130 because that is the cost of materials to make it. So even if you're buying the materials off the market, you make like 100 mil a day just by 5 minutes of AFK processing it. And yeah, that's how you do it. So there's more money. What else do I do? So this is something I don't always do daily, but it's something like you could do. So as we all know, overnight fishing is a thing. Like these people just go set your thing to fish and then leave it on overnight. When you wake up in the morning, your inventory is probably full of random fish and relics. Now, fishing itself used to be good back in the day, and like it's not. I mean, like, if you're calculating active money now versus fishing, it's pretty bad. But if you're just trying to get some extra silver overnight, you get about like 30 mil maybe. And depending on where you fish at night, you could get a lot of relics, which are, you know, the things you turn into memory fragments from the boss that everyone hates doing, myself included. But you can always get that, and that's like the highest priority for me. So here's the thing. I used to try to min-max and overnight fish in the ocean, and then I realized when I wake up, I don't want to actually go all the way to Valencia, and so to trade it in just for a little bit of extra silver. So what do I do now? If I do leave my game on fishing overnight, I'll just fish in Heidel by the river where we just saw. And so each town has some different amounts or like things you can get. So like if you fish by the beach in Velia, you'll get a lot of gold fish, or like the ones that are worth like $1 million or $2 million. And if you fish in Heidel, you get more relics, but the fish like tier quality is a lot lower. So you'll be making a lot less silver from fish, but you'll get more in relics. Whereas Velia, you'll make more in fish, but you get less rare items. So I think I value the relics a little bit more just because I enhance and I do all the stuff that you guys watch in my other videos. So that's a thing. But if you're trying to min-max and make like hundreds, or maybe, I don't know, more or less like 100 mil a night, here's what you do. You go out into the ocean, you go fish somewhere, and then once you wake up in the morning and your inventory is full, you could transport yourself to wherever the farthest destination you have, and then you get make more profit from that. But I'm lazy. I personally don't care about that anymore. I just fish by Heidel because 1, it's a safe zone. 2, I just want relics. And 3, if I really needed silver, I'm just gonna go grind for it. And another thing I do is I do farming daily, and it's not so much the silver that's the big deal. I think I only make like 20 mil out of this. But the reason why we do farming is because I want these leaves, right? And so, oh, we actually have an event now. Hold on. We get like 3 of them, I think. Yeah, 3 of them. This is an event, by the way. Did I get all 3 of them? I think I did. Okay, so basically, yeah. When you do that, sometimes you get the moles and then you get extra. But the reason why I personally do farming is mostly for the leaves, and they actually changed it recently to the point where they made it a little bit more convenient. You just get 1 byproduct. Ooh, that's actually kind of lucky. No survivors. Okay. I think I got all 3 of them. Anyway. So, I actually do the exchange for Stonetail fodder. Oh my god, that's kind of lucky. We got 9 of them. This doesn't happen normally, and normally you only get 1, but there's an event right now. Oh, there's a special one. Oh wait, never mind. That's not a special one. Sometimes you get like a... Okay, so there's one thing. This is kind of off topic, but there's like a special item. Let me show you it, actually. If I can find it. Yeah, this thing, the Pit-a-Pat Pedal. I've done a lot of farming, and I've only gotten 3 of them, and it's kind of weird, but anyway. So... you could either turn these in for Stonetail fodder, which is for tier 9 horse materials, or you could turn them for contribution and farming XP. And personally, I have been turning it in for farming XP and contributions because after 400, it slows down a little bit, and then at 425, we hit another bracket and it slows down even further. So that's what I do. And I've actually been leveling up farming on another character that way. I think we have one at Artisan so far. And honestly, after like Master 1, it doesn't even matter because just like you get the old moon fences and then that's it, right? But if you're looking for effectiveness, then I think after Artisan 1, you already like maxed out the quantity you can get. And a lot of people have been asking me why I do magical seeds instead of just like the 10x10 blues, and the reason one is because I'm lazy and that's really it. But if you're trying to min-max XP, then you would want to do 10x10 blues. And then another thing with farming is they give the fruit of whatever, right? So basically these things, the fruits of whatever, and you should not sell these. You use these for whatever alchemy you're doing. And like, for example, this enchantment one is popular because you need them for tier 10 materials, and then all of these are for other various alchemy. I personally only use blue and enchantment, but you shouldn't sell them just because one day you'll need it. So then you could check your farms, and they've actually made the quality of life a lot easier over the past years. So that's another like 20-30 million. I think for you guys, if you're going for a tier 9 horse, your first one, I would take the Stonetail fodder. It's pretty important. But then for me, I just like the contribution points because that is actually pretty valuable over time. So then those are generally what I do on a daily that everyone else can do. And the next things that I do just on a daily is going to vary a lot differently because everyone's at a different gear score. And I think like where you grind is also a big thing. Also, you just sell the extra fruits or seeds and you get money out of it. So farming isn't a lot. You do it for a specific reason, not necessarily for the money, but I mean, good to have. So like, yeah, 1400, and I'm just gonna do a big turn in one day for contribution. So yeah, next things I've been doing this month was I've been at Histria for a lot, and I think I make between 500 to 1 billion silver an hour there. Obviously my gear is a little bit different than most people's. Oh yeah, we actually got the Exalted Vel's Heart today. And it's basically, so you have a Vel's Heart, then Blessed one, and then Exalted. And it's just a silver sink, and I think this is like one of the last things you upgrade once you already have a lot of other gear. It's just extra DP, and you can get DP other ways before you get this one. So I think Exalted Vel's Heart one of those late game upgrades, but don't worry about it now. Worry about like actual gear. So yeah, 500 mil to a billion an hour grinding. It just depends where you grind, honestly, but I've been at Histria, which is on the lower end of the gear scale for me, so I'm just going for the compass piece, and progression has been pretty like, I've gotten 3 compass pieces so far into all Vodkin, and so one day I'll get an Elton. And then every day after I wake up, generally my energy is full, so what I go do is I do a lot of gathering, actually, almost at gathering or Guru 15 gathering, and where I go just depends on what meat or something I need for the day to make the meals for Imperial delivery. So I think that's about like 300 mil, 300 to 400 mil in raw materials, but obviously if you're actually using it to cook versus just selling the meats on the market, that's literally the difference between like billions of silver. So I've always told people this: if you're looking into life skilling as a beginner, what you should do first is figure out what you want to do before you actually like just start gathering randomly, right? So figure out, okay, this is my goal. What am I gonna do? I want to gather this meat because I want to do this. Obviously it's more complicated than that, but I think here's a good thing I would say to start with as a beginner. Okay, so let's say you want to do what I do and you want to start with Imperial delivery, right? So what I would do is, let's see how much are Valencia meals these days. Your goal would be to start making Valencia meals, right? So it's obviously making meals is a huge step process. You're gonna have to gather a lot of separate items, and how you do that is by using your nodes. Gathering meats is probably the hardest part, and just a lot of gathering that you can't get on the market is what you do. And then after you get the meats, what do? You start cooking it, and then you start slowly leveling up your cooking. Once you're in Guru, then you're good, and then every day you just profit like what I do. So obviously it's more complicated than that. I don't really how I did it, it took me a while to figure out how to do as a start, but then later on it just becomes like second nature of like, I need to go here today, I'm out of this material. So yeah, you figure out what is the bottleneck, you go gather those. If it's cheap, you buy it off the market, then you make the boxes and then turn it into boxes. So yeah, I do a little bit of gathering every day when my energy bar is for the most part full. And then that's a few, like if you were to sell materials like 300 to 400 mil, at least for me it is, I have about 1850 mastery. And if I full buff up, I could get very close to 2000, but yeah. So yeah, that's basically what I do on a daily. The first half, aside from gathering and grinding, you guys could do as well, make about like 300 to 400 mil. Oh yeah, also, this is something you guys could do. I know this is like every game has it, but just log in. Aside from your like everything I told you, like just easy stuff, just log in every day and you get some good rewards. And if you don't need it, sell it, and that's just free money. So especially you kind of, for login rewards, you want to hit the like bigger things. Usually you'll have the little banner at the top of here to tell you these are the important things to log in for the week. So I don't know, every month just by logging in, that's probably, I don't know, actually a lot of these for this month are not really sellable items, but a lot will like come in handy at some point. So yeah, that's about it. I make about 1 billion to 4 billion a day. A lot of it comes from how much I feel like grinding, but if I were to take out the whole grinding process, it's probably about 1 billion silver, maybe like 600 to 1 billion if I don't grind, and then over 1 billion if I do. So that's about it. Hopefully you guys learned something. If you guys have any other tips or recommendations for newer players, feel free to leave it in the comments. Also, yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for all the support. I don't get a chance to say that enough in all my videos, but I'm always happy to help newer players get into this game because BDO is not your traditional MMO, and if you get into this game, there's a lot of information that is not very obvious for newer players. So I think that I want to help people with more beginner guides and everything, or just like guides in general. So it'll help newer players get into the game a lot easier than when I started and I had to figure everything else myself out. So with that said, thanks so much for watching. If you're new, feel free to subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow. And everyone else, have a fantastic day.